Hello and welcome to the Time to Calibrate podcast. I'm Bob Allaby, and joining me today is co-host Mark Levesque, brand director, North American brand director, rather, of Isotope Watches. And we're missing today Brent Robillard. He had a prior engagement, but today we have a special guest from the YouTube channel, The Mad Watch Collector, Russell. How's it going, Russell?
It's an absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure to be here, boys. I don't do enough podcasts, I don't think, with fellow watch enthusiasts, you know. And if you've seen my channel, you know that my wife doesn't really help me in that department. So if I can get and talk with fellow watch nerds, you know, I'm happy.
Absolutely. Us too. Thanks for doing it, man. It's required by law in a watch podcast. We always start out with a wrist check, and Russ, get your watch out.
Well, apologies for anyone. I've got a bit of a cold, so if I do cough, these two guys have made me laugh. It's their fault. I've actually got, so I did my State of the Collection show this week, and I showed off my Citizen Aqualand. It's the only Citizen that I own, and I really love it because it's like a baby Plo Prof. It's a depth alarm. I love it. I think it's called the JP 2200 or the JP 2000. But the strap is the worst strap that has ever been made for a watch. It is. I mean, I've been in this game for about 8-9 years now, and I have never had a worse strap than this thing. I tried, from subscribers telling me to put it in hot water, boiling water, and let it soak. And it's horrible. It's a horrific strap. And I was very fortunate enough to have a follower tell me to get, they recommended a Zulu diver. A Zulu diver, is it called Zulu? Zulu diver strap. And I got it today, so I'm wearing it now. And it's, oh crikey, the comfort on it is so much better. I do like my straps a bit textured, like a tropic strap. So I don't know if I'll have it forever, but crikey, this now makes me want to wear it. So I'm
Cool.
I'm very happy. Thanks, Brian.
Hopefully Brian listens to our podcast too.
I'll make sure he does.
What about you, Mark? What do you got on wrist?
Well, today being Friday the 13th, I've got my Fortis Novanaut on.
Oh, beautiful.
The reason why 13 is special for Fortis is that for some reason I think they were founded on the 13th of a specific month, and they've had that number as one of their lucky numbers forever. So what they do is every 13 on all of their watches is in Dayglow orange as opposed to white and black. So if you have a UV torch and you have it nearby, the 13 just literally leaps off the
wow.
date
I
wheel.
wonder if that's I've got a 90s Cosmonaut. I wonder if that's the same on that old.
Have to check.
Wow, I'll check it out.
Probably, yeah.
Cool.
So they have the 13 on this, and the 47th hash mark on the subdial is a Dayglow orange tick.
Wow.
So when you shoot it with UV light again, that little hash mark is tiny, but that pops out. So 47, 13 makes 60. I think it's a logic for that. But yeah, I'm still very much in love with this watch.
Yeah.
Still wearing it all the time.
Nice.
What about you, Bob?
So I had to go with the classic, the Square.
Ah, here we go.
5600. This is probably my most worn watch, period.
Very cool.
Yeah. I had to, in honor of Russell being on, had to go with Casio or a G-Shock in some form.
Well, thank you, mate.
One of my favorites. So we usually start off with a bit of a guest profile, and I'm sure most listeners will know you. But if not, Russ is the host of the Mad Watch Collector YouTube channel, which is one of the most fun and energetic channels out there. He's also collaborated with Radcliffe Watches on watch designs. And outside of watches, Russ is somewhat of a jack of all trades, being a musician whose music is featured on his channel. He's also a full-time tennis instructor or coach. He's famously known to be the owner of every digital Casio ever made.
Don't make me laugh. It's your fault. It's true, though. It's true. It is true.
I was just going to ask if everything was correct there, but So I was looking at your channel the other day, and you're approaching a pretty big milestone of 350K subscribers. Did you ever think the channel would turn into something like that as when you first started off?
Well, it is an incredible journey. It's half a decade, which is, when you think of it like that, it's absolutely crazy. But it all came from COVID. I couldn't teach tennis outdoors, and I was going a little bit stir crazy at home. I was heavy on watching TGV, Jody, and Jory at the Time Teller, and I thought, do you know what? I'm going to have a go at this because I've got a set of watches, and I thought I'll have a bit of go. What I found in the watch world back then, and to be fair, it's still the same now, but there's not a lot of lightheartedness. There's not a lot of fun. I mean, there's really fun people, and when you meet fellow creators, they tend to be a lot more fun than they are on camera. And I thought to myself, let's have a bit of fun and see if we can just make someone's day and make it a bit lighthearted, but also talk about something that might give some knowledge there as well. And I thought, if I really get into this YouTube game with watches, I can learn a lot more as well. And that's what I really love about it. I never ever thought, even after my first 10 shows, when I think I probably got about 30 subscribers, did I think that it would ever come to a point where I was meeting TGV, doing live shows with him, live shows with Jody at Just One More Watch, and to a point where established brands that have been around since the 1800s contacted me to review watches. I never would have thought that in a million years. And it's all come, and it all stemmed from me in the bedroom, in the spare bedroom. And it's turned into something special. I mean, I do appreciate the amount of hard work it's taken to get to this point. There's been a lot of sacrificing in terms of, you guys know, in terms of money and time that takes to do these stuff. And I've never been one for being able to stick at something very well. I'm a creative bunny. I like making things, and then when I've made it, I like going away from it and maybe doing something else. And my brother's got the same problem as well. We don't stick at the same thing for too long. So what I'm most proud of is, after 5.5 years, I'm still doing it. And even prouder, there's still people that want to see it, and that's awesome, that's the main thing for me. And it's always been about my life, and why I've been put on this planet is not only to have found my wife and to have made 2 beautiful kids, but it's to entertain. I've always felt that I'm a tennis coach, but I feel like I'm a semi-therapist on the tennis court most of the time. So I'm the person that picks you up if you're on the tennis court and you're down or low. I'm the person that picks you up if you're a member of my family. If you're a friend, I'm the one that listens. I'm the one that tries to pick you up. And I've always been that type of person. And I tell you what was so proud moments was, through COVID, to have done shows in 2020 and 2021, and to have heard from subscribers that have said, nurses at that point when life was just almost impossible, the fact that they were able to be taken away for 10, 20 minutes and relax a bit and have a bit of fun in what was a very troubling time. And that sort of thing stuck with me. And I only just had a couple of emails the other day that a couple of guys have been going through some hard times, and there have been many stories through the years of guys with a touch of mental health issues and things, and life's not going too well, but the shows get them through it sometimes. And I almost think it's my obligation now just to keep doing it until I can't do it anymore, because that's really an important thing. I don't think us dudes talk about too often. Yeah, so sorry, that was a very long answer, boys. I'm apologize.
I remember those days. So I started my channel like maybe 2 years before COVID, and I was kind of a lone wolf at the
Yeah,
time. There was a few
crikey.
guys out there doing it, but I can remember the days when COVID happened, a lot of channels kind of came out of the woodwork. There was a lot of collaboration happening then. I can remember you and Joe, Average Joe,
Yes,
that
yes,
did
yes.
live streams together, and not everybody stayed around, but that was a really cool time. Was there like a certain moment, like I'm grabbing the camera and I'm starting this? Like when you first started, was there a moment that really triggered that for you, do you think? Or
I don't know if there was I really did love TGV's the old shows where he had his yellow pad of paper and he was reading off a list, and I thought, I'm enthralled by what he says, but I'm sure that I can do something like this, but maybe in a wacky a way, but still not too wacky that I'm hated. I mean, when I look back on those shows that are now private, I realized, crikey, I can't believe anyone subscribed back then, because it was that just zany that I think. But the trouble is, I had to go through that. I had to do 150 shows before I got better. You don't get better at this game unless you are you do the hard time. You got to do the time to improve, and that's what I've done. But I don't think it was COVID that did it for me. That thought, right, I can do something. I've got a lot of time on my hands at the minute. I can do this, and just the excitement of having a comment on the show, and the excitement of having actually someone go in and clicking the subscribe button, which I'm still so grateful today. That's what drove me. I was saying to the wife, 10 subscribers this week, 10 subscribers. And I don't think the wife expected me to carry it on for very long. When I went back to work, I thought she'd think it was just a stopgap of doing it.
Yeah.
But I think it was the subscribers and the comments that just made me want to make more shows. That's what did it. It was the people that made me want to do it.
Yeah.
And I talk to people now that followed me right from the start, and God knows why they're still doing that. But yeah, it's a special thing.
That's awesome, man. So Brent had a couple of questions that we're going to just throw into the mix.
Cool.
He couldn't make it, but he wanted to know what was the first watch that truly hooked you, and what did it awaken in you? The other objects maybe didn't.
Yeah, so I have a distinct memory of going to a local store that UK listeners would know about, called Argos. And it was basically a catalogue shop. Basically, you go up to the front desk, you give them an order number, they go to the warehouse and they pick it up. That's what back in the 80s and 90s, these catalogues were just amazing to us, because they had all the toys in, all the gifts in, and they had digital watches. And I was a massive fan of digital watches. I was born in 1980, so I'm heavy on the digital side of things when I was growing up. I can distinctly remember going with my mum to Argos to buy the calculator watch, the CA53 W. That was a special moment for me. I thought I was cooler than I actually was, to be fair. But yeah, the idea that I could type numbers on the phone, the idea that it was could be like Roger Moore had, Q could have given this to Roger Moore at some point, something special. So that's the moment I think that really stands out. And then getting loads of digital watches ever since from then. But the big watch was the SKX. That was the watch. That was the first mechanical one, and the realization and the euphoria about, you don't need a battery to get a watch to work, and the automatic rotor winds the mainspring. It's just, and knowing that, and that just made me quite obsessed about it,
Mhm.
about mechanical movements and how you don't need a battery. I mean, everything was batteries in the late 80s, early 90s, 2000s. You know, we get to 2010s and it's all plug in,
Yeah.
charge it, and everything else. And I I I I was gifted a Apple Watch in 2015, 2016. My wife was pregnant, and I don't usually take my phone on the tennis court. So it was a way for one, for her to track me, and two, for her to call me if, you know, what shit if it the fan, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I needed to be called. So
Yeah.
I got that. I wore that for a bit. And I just felt very soulless with it. And then I started watching a lot of YouTube channels. And yeah, I mean, in that time, my granddad passed away, and I always remember him talking about watches. I always talked to him about watches, and I remember always going to his house, and he was going, "Another one? You got another one?" Because my granddad was quite frugal. He was a self-made man, a very, very, very successful man, but you know, was very frugal with his pennies. Um, yeah, and it was the SKX, really, the SKX 007. That was a little bit too big for me, if I was being totally honest. And then I went for the 013, and I've still got that watch. I'll never get rid of that.
I think I saw you just posted that the other
Yes,
other day.
on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah.
And for all those that have a go at hard Lex, you know, that has been through absolutely everything with me. It's been through 6-7 years of tennis coaching, lugging gear, banging into fences. I've hit it with a tennis racket a couple of times, and the hard Lex is absolutely fine. So, you know, I've never had a problem with hard Lex myself, and I know some people have done, but that's always the little example I like to show. I mean, it's such a beautiful, clear crystal still, you know. But that watch, it's a funny one, guys, because I'm always on the lookout for the perfect watch. But if I really think about it, the SKX 013 ain't too far away from what I've always been wanting.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us feel that way as well. They go all around, do all this, and then they realize actually the grass isn't greener on the other side. I've had one of my favorite watches all along.
Yeah.
You've just got to bloody wear it.
Careful. You might start talking people out of collecting watches.
I know.
Slippery slope right there.
I know.
We had a store like that in Canada. I don't know if it was in Ontario, but do you remember Consumers Distributing?
Yeah.
Bob?
That was
was
like that was nationwide.
Yeah, that's the same thing as your Argos. You had a catalog, you picked out your toys.
Yeah.
And I remember very well looking at all the toys and wanting an Optimus Prime. And then you had to select, in case they didn't have it, you had to have a backup, right?
Oh,
So
really?
I had gotten, I think it was, oh God, Sideswipe. I can't remember. It was the Lamborghini, the red Lamborghini guy, right?
Oh,
But I
wow.
really wanted Optimus Prime. So, you know, you take out the little numbers, you fill in the little pad, and then my mom would take me by, 2 or 3 buses to get to the store. Then you hand over your little slip to the person to go look in the
Yeah.
warehouse to see if they have it. And then you're like doing little prayers, please come out with Optimus Prime. And no, of course not. They didn't have Optimus Prime. But I did that with watches there too. They used to carry all kinds of Casios, Timex, Loris. I don't know if you guys remember Loris.
Yeah.
And a couple other brands. Glycine. They actually carried Glycine back in the
Wow.
day. And I remember seeing them in the stores. The jewelry and the watches, they did have encounters in the store.
Yeah.
So at least when you walked in, you could see them right
Yeah,
there.
they always used to have some high quality stuff in the cabinets, definitely.
Yeah.
Back in my day, there was little digital tablets that you went in, you had your code, you typed in the code, and it would tell you on a digital display how many that they have in stock. So I wasn't that disappointed like you would have been, just praying to see if they've got it on the warehouse.
There was no digital displays when I'm born in 73. So this would have been like 82, 83, 84, somewhere in the neighborhood. So yeah, no digital displays back then.
Oh.
So your channel is called The Mad Watch Collector. What's the story behind that name?
Well, the channel was first called The Idiot's Guide to Watches. So I wanted to be like those books, The Idiot's Guide to This, The Idiot's Guide to That.
Yeah, those
I
yellow
wanted
books.
to, yeah, I wanted to be a go-to for all beginners, basically, and I wanted to go through like a tour, and I was learning at the same time, and also I wanted to cover my back because I didn't want to think that anyone to think that I was full of knowledge. It's an idiot's guide. I I started getting quite a few comments with the word mad in it. And I thought to myself, I wouldn't mind having the channel name being called the Mad Watch Collector because when you watch the show, you're not going to be surprised about the title, and the thumbnails reflect the title and the content. So that's what I did after 1 year. Well, it probably wasn't that. It's probably about 5-6 months, but I decided to call it the Mad Watch Collector. And I wouldn't really call myself a collector as such. Still, I would just call myself an enthusiast, really, because I think collector goes really deep into certain references of the same watch and stuff. I mean, obviously, if you've got more than one, you've got a collection. But yeah, so my thought was to have a name that matches the content, that matches the thumbnail. That's what I've tried to do ever since. Still to this day, there are comments saying, "Whoa, slow down there! How much coffee have you had? What sort of drugs are you on, son?" And all this sort of stuff. But what I don't like with content with me, I seem to see, especially with watch content, actually, the thumbnail of the person doing an expression is the zaniest they will ever be in the show. So there is actual go, wah, there's that on the thumbnail, but there's like deadpan, there's no smile in the whole show. I just wanted to be the only one that matched the thumbnail. That's pretty much, and I still try and do that today. And I know people. Well, people hate. There are some people that hate it. I know that there are people that don't like the content. There's people that don't like the thumbnails, and they call it rude words and stuff. I don't really care. I really don't really care. I know that 30% that watch my shows aren't subscribers, so I'm always trying to promote to new people. And as I said, just like I've always been in the music. When you're performing, or if I'm playing tennis, play like it's your last show. Play like it's the first time anyone's ever seen you. So that way you will never be caught in this sort of like downer. If you always think that your next show is the first one, it keeps your game up. In actual fact, it makes you want to improve your game, because there are certain little things with lighting and tech that you can get that can improve stuff. So that's the way I've always thought after the first 40-50 shows, is like, let's do it like it's the first show, and let's try and, where can we improve it? That's the mantra I've always been. And I have seen shows that have been quite similar when I started, and they've stayed quite similar now. And I think it's probably been a detriment to their growth, because they just haven't wanted to push the envelope a bit in terms of tech or just the way lighting is, or certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. Your show is not just content for the sake of distributing facts about the watch, numbers, features. It is a show. It's entertainment. It really is. I can't remember the last time I didn't watch one of your shows and then stop it at the end and have a smile on my face. And that a lot of people get that from your show.
Yeah,
And
it makes me very happy, man.
Those who don't get it, well, too bad for them.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
250,000 people have already subscribed to your show. Obviously, you're doing something right. So yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
How has your personal relationship with watches evolved since you started the channel?
I think it's got worse because of the channel. It definitely has got worse. There's always that, but it's for the channel excuse. I don't know if you guys have had that.
Yeah.
It's good content. It's good content. As I pull open a drawer full of resin Casios. I think it's been a slight detriment to my collecting journey, because I have been fortunate. I am fortunate enough to be handed watches in all sorts of prices. You know, I always said to myself, I don't want to, and I'm quite happy of the growth that I've had, but I always thought it was a detriment to my channel, because I absolutely love reviewing Casios for 30 quid, £30, but I also love reviewing 20,000 pound other watches. You know, a Panerai tomorrow, you know, I've got Norris, and then I've got a Seiko, and I've got Hamilton. I never want to pigeon myself in a price bracket. That was really important to me, and I think it has been a detriment to the growth of the channel, because if I stayed in an affordable level, just kept it at £1,000 down, then not only do more people understand what my content's about, but YouTube might push me to more people that are only Googling that price point, you know. So this week has been a perfect example. If ever there is an example of the Mad Watch Collector content, it's last week. For the first time, I did 4 shows. I don't know how that happened, but I did 4 shows in a week, and they're not pre-done. They're done in that week. There was a Rolex, there was a Nevada Grenchen, there was microbrands, independent brands. And I can just imagine YouTube going, so what are you trying to do again? Where you trying to push this to? And you can see that there's not been too much views on those shows. And I can understand that. But the show I did yesterday on Seiko's, you know, it's the views have gone back up, and that's always going to be a challenge for me, because I don't like doing you know, a Seiko or a Rolex or for the sake of it. I don't like doing that. I like to show off watches that I've been very fortunate enough to have hand in my hands and want to show you, you know, that's it, you know. I'm really pushing the boundaries in my love of different watches these days. I'm not just going to be military style, you know. I don't know, Bob and Mark, you know, the Arkan, the brand Arkan, and the Ultium. I've had that in recently, and I really do love it. I really do love it. It's not me. It's not a me watch, but flipping heck, you know, to have modded a Miyota like that, put it in a case like that, the way the strap is, you know. And I think for me, moving on, I think it's going to be beneficial to me, you know, with reviewing and loving watches for longer, because hopefully we're going to open some more doors of dress watches now. You know, I'm going into the Presage range now, and I'm gonna really try and push those barriers. But Bob, I completely forgot what the question was, Mark. What was the question?
Your relationship has changed with the.
Oh, it's gone to pot. It's completely gone to pot. yeah, it's terrible.
So Brent had another question here. It says here, at what point does a person cross from being a watch owner to being a collector, or a mad collector, for that matter?
Yeah, I think when you've got more watches than days of the week, that's to start with. That's when the collector starts coming in, because then you're choosing watches that aren't going to be worn. There are going to be watches that aren't going to be worn in the week, unless you are a bit obsessed, like I do sometimes. You wear 2 a day if you're at home for long enough. But yeah, that's another sign that you're a collector. You wear more than one watch in the day. A mad watch collector, I don't know what you have to be a mad watch collector. But I would imagine just having more watches than the days of the month. Then we're starting getting into a bit more, and then you go quarterly. If you've got more watches than quarterly, yeah, I think mad is subjective, isn't it? It's I don't know what that is. Basically, if you love a DW 6900 and you've got every single reference of that watch, that's when you're getting close to mad, I think. Because I mean, I know some people that are Swatch fans, and unfortunately for them and the obsessive milking of the Moon Swatch, they have to buy the next one. They
Mm.
have to buy the next
I
one
know a
because
couple of guys like
they
that too.
bought the last 25 or 30. You know, when the first 11 came out, it was ridiculous. But now every time it comes out, it's like, I had to buy it. I had to buy it. That is when you know you've got an issue. Definitely.
I agree. The Moonswatch is getting out of hand. I remember, I don't know, it was last year or the year before that when the Moonshine Gold first started coming out, and they were doing limited editions with prints on the gold hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had made one
The strawberries on it.
exactly. I had made one with flipping the bird. You know, it was a little icon. And
Okay.
I put it all over the hands.
Well
Call
done.
it
Well done.
the flipping the bird Moonshine Gold.
I got the Mars like the first week of the release or whatever, and I was thinking I'm gonna put together a video on this. There was so much content out there. I'm like, I don't even want to take part in this. And
Yeah.
I had a friend that was going after the original 11 or whatever, and I sold it to him at cost or whatever. But that's my only experience with the Moonswatch myself.
It
But
came out near my birthday, the year that Moonswatch first came out, and my buddy and I were planning on going to get one. What the hell? It was my birthday. I was going to buy myself a Moonswatch, and we found out the night before that the lineup was around the block down the street the night before.
yeah,
Wow.
There was only one store in Montreal. I said, forget it. And at the same time, Seiko had launched the GMT, the SKX GMT style.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it sort of got buried in the news because of the Moonswatch.
Hmm.
And I said, well, I'm going to get one of those. And I was able to get one almost immediately from a dealer in Calgary who already had them. And he even gave me a discount. And
Wow.
I was quite happy with that watch for my birthday. So I never wound up getting one of those. And I finally did get to see them in Ottawa. I don't know, it wasn't that long ago. And I'm glad I didn't get one. They feel cheap in hand. I found it's very plasticky. Call it what you want, plastic or bioceramic or whatever. It just feels cheap in hand. I didn't like them so much.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So people say this about the PRX and stuff. Oh, but it got people into watches. I just
That's
don't,
true.
That's very true.
It's
Yeah.
just that I don't. You know, I struggle. I do struggle with it, but I see a lot of well-to-do people and older people with Moonswatches. You know, I do, and I think I don't know. They think they're slightly cheating the system because they've got Omega on a dial of a watch that costs $250, $300 for you. For Canadian dollars, it's probably $32,000, isn't it? For
Correct. Just about.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's one of those watches that gets banded about as one of those, and you know, maybe the first 11 were okay, you know, but the best one was always the one that looked like the Speedy. You know,
Yeah.
it was always the best one.
I like the Mercury. I think the gray one with the black dial.
Yeah, the gray. That's pretty cool. I do like
that was my favorite one. That's the one I was going to go after if I was going to get one.
And I can appreciate the Snoopy one, the Moonface one.
That's
you
true.
know,
The Snoopy
if
was
you
pretty
like
cool.
if you like the Snoopy stuff. But I've handled 4, and there isn't one that didn't have alignment issues.
Mm.
You know, and that sort of didn't trigger me, but made me slightly annoyed that it didn't get the annoyance that, you know, people give to Seiko.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But obviously it's not as much money sometimes, and you know, Jody has been documented in paying quite a lot of money for a Seiko, and the chapter ring is not been aligned, and that's absolutely fine. But you know, it is what it is.
It was fun, even if you didn't partake. It was a fun few weeks for sure, and 100% it brought a lot of people to the hobby.
Yeah.
So Russ, what's your creative process like when you come from an idea to publishing a video? Forget the reviews, the other stuff. What's the creative process for you?
I've always tried to do everything on the spur of the moment. I've always tried to do that because I feel like that's where it's always the most authentic for me, and the way I like to move, the way I like to talk. When I edit my shows, I always because I used to I've done producing on my own songs and demos and things, and I always take my shows like a song. So I never look at the video as such when I'm looking at editing me. I'm always looking at the waves, and just the flow of it and how that flows is important to me. But the process has never changed at all, really. I don't think. I mean, I've got quite a few new transitions in between the stuff that I've done in the past, but I like keeping that because, you know, if I watch an old sitcom, I'm always enjoying the intro that I've always loved, and I don't want to get rid of those funny things. So it's not out of being lazy, those transitions. It's almost like, you know, I love a show like Red Dwarf, and I love the start
I love
of it.
Red Dwarf.
Yeah, well, I'm a big Red Dwarf fan.
Oh, Smeghead.
Oh, I love, yeah, Smeghead. I love all that. In the toilet. Well, I don't. It's bad context, but in the downstairs toilet, I've got a Starbug ship on the windowsill. It's the only place where it's not going to get damaged by my 2-year-old. But yeah, I've always loved that. But what you love is, oh, it's my favorite show. Let's have the song that I remember. Let's have the intro that I remember.
Mhm.
So I might improve in the watch shots, and maybe I might improve in the shots on me, and I might improve my editing skills, but the transitions are the same, and the music I'm going to try and get the same, and the sounds I'm going to try and keep the same, you know, until someone says this is old tat, you know, stop it. But yeah, so I'm always very conscious of and also I'm the Mad Watch collector. I shouldn't compare myself to Adrian Barker's content, because his is so good, and his is the top level.
Mhm.
A Teddy Baldassare that has, I don't know, 150 people working for him or whatever. But I shouldn't see myself as that, because I still want to be this lone wolf person that's doing it myself, and I sort of want a tinge of DIY in it, you know. So there's going to be a point where I still don't do 4K. I still don't do 4K. I haven't done 4K yet. So that will be something that I look into in the future, and upgrading all the software and all the computers and everything like that. Yeah, I want to be authentic. And I don't know about you boys, but and luckily for me, I'm in a vocation where it's nowhere near me. But AI, I want to keep as far away from it as I possibly can,
Mhm.
for as long as I can, until possibly I have to use it. But I don't want to use it at all. And I think for me, in my view, the more authentic human we are, the better it's going to be for us in the long run, in the
100%.
near future anyway. The way things are going. I mean, my brother was telling me, my brother does digital retouching for housing and everything else, and he's heavy into AI. He wants to get on the bottom run first, so he can, you know, up his skills and be on top of a lot of people. But he was saying to me that he can create a review show with me in it without me doing anything,
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
is,
that's crazy.
I just could not. It's absolutely mental, and I just could not compute. I don't think I texted him back. I replied to him after that, but yeah, yeah. I
I
saw,
can
yeah,
create a brother without having an actual
yeah,
brother.
exactly, yeah, yeah. So that really strives me on to do the quirkiness, the faces, sometimes the human the human element of timing, and that really does really makes me, I feel strong about that, really
Mhm.
strong. I want to, when I see watch content, I want to see the human. I want to
Yeah.
see the personality come through. I don't just want to see a spec sheet. I don't just want to see hands. I want to see I want to see the way you move. I want to see maybe what your character's like and stuff. You know, I think I've done quite a good job. I mean, there is a lot of people that think I'm not real. Definitely, I think there'll be a lot of people that think I am actually AI. But I am the Mad Watch collector. But probably, you know, 4 or 5 times more on show than I am talking to you guys, you know. But you know, I've just definitely felt over the years, definitely now, you've got to be upbeat, because if you're not, blooming it, you can be taken down very easily. So yeah. Sorry, I forgot the question again.
No,
I've just rambled.
that was great.
I
That was
am
great.
rubbish.
And just so you know, your show does look very well produced, very well edited, and polished. So
Thank you, man. Thank you.
whatever you're doing, Lone Wolf or not, you're doing a great job.
No, I appreciate it.
so it's
And you know, that my brother said, why don't you get someone else to edit it? Why don't you get someone else to do all that stuff? One, I'd be embarrassed for someone to do it. But two, I enjoy it. I enjoy it. It's the creative part. It's the fact. It's building something. You know, the one thing in my life, I've always been good at something. I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. Always been good at sports. I'm very creative, everything else. But I've always needed at least one other person to help me finish something or do something. So if I'm writing a song, I'll need it being produced. You know, I can't do that myself. You know, the way, the level that I want it to be. With the YouTube, I wanted to make the errors. I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn as I went, and I wanted to be the one that prepares, shoots, edits, and published. And that's another proud thing for me, because I don't do too much of that. I really don't. I mean, when it comes to admin and my tennis work, my wife's in control, because I haven't got a clue. You know, my best work's done on the tennis court. So I know where my strengths lie. But it's a very proud thing for me, because as I said, I can start and finish everything with YouTube, and you know, I don't do too much of that in my life.
I feel the same way about the audio podcast. I do all the editing. Brent was doing the editing at the beginning. It's long.
Yeah,
I can't even imagine editing video along with audio, but it's a very long process. But when it's done, there's some pride there of the work you've done, that you've accomplished editing,
100%.
you know, a podcast or a show, and that's great. Are there any videos or topics that surprised you, how well or poorly they performed? Is there one that, like, oh, I did this one, I didn't think it was going to get any views at all, and all of a sudden it blew up for some reason?
There are weird things that happen with YouTube. You know, I could have, I've did a show on Invicta about 2 years ago on a Invicta Pro diver. All of a sudden this week it's had 15,000 views, and I've had a lot of comments on it, as well as a Seiko Ani show that I did 3.5, 4 years ago. That thing always surprises me. There's no show, I don't know if you guys feel this, and Bob as well. Always the show that you feel like you're the most proud of may probably get the least amount of views.
100%.
It's always the way. It's always the way.
The ones where you make the most mistakes and you misspeak like 10 different times, and then it goes viral.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. Yeah.
I mean, I did a show on me actually visiting Hanhart, you know, actually going to Gutenbach in Germany.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I, you know, in my heart of hearts, I want that to get 300,000 views. You know, I want that to get, but you know, how do you promote it? How's the thumbnail got to be? How's the title got to be? You know, it's very difficult, those sorts of things to do. But yeah, I think, and as well, you always want the watch that you designed to have the most amount of views. So you've got to be a bit cheeky with the titles and everything. Nothing surprises me in YouTube now. Nothing surprises me. It annoys me a lot. It definitely annoys me. That's for damn sure. But because I'm still clueless with algorithms and stuff, and I'm not that patient with changing titles or anything as we go. And I will do one thumbnail I won't do 3 or 4. I will do 1, and I will be, I'll get it to a good level, and it just if it doesn't do well, it doesn't do well. But I might change the title once or twice if it's done very poorly. But yeah.
And how do you decide which watches or topics are worth covering on the channel?
So I try to do a lot of nighttime in the bed research of new watches coming in. I scour authorized dealers. I scour websites, Seiko websites. I'll scour Discovery Japan, websites like that, Tic Tac area, sites that may offer watches that UK doesn't have yet, or I've never seen before because they're Japanese domestic models, or American models, or something like that. And sometimes I might think of an angle. So I've got 3 watches from Francis and Gay Jewelers that I've asked for to be sent. One is the new Full Metal MIP, and I want to compare that to my Full Metal digital that I've got. There's a Seiko Presage that I've talked about in my last show, which has an amazing, it's the SPB 525. It's absolutely insane dial. It's absolutely gorgeous. And as I said, I've started getting into Presage these days. That is an amazing watch, and it'll be talk about dials, because you don't do that with Seiko. So yeah, I mean, what I tried to do is I tried to do a title or a thumbnail to pull someone in, but then you run the risk of the content's got to be accurate enough that someone stays for it. So I don't really plan too far ahead, because I've always learned in the past that you'll just end up with 25 watches that you haven't reviewed yet, and people are waiting for the reviews. And I would sooner nowadays try and get watches in on the week and do them the week after, and whatever takes my fancy. Fortunately, guys, for me, I'm able to say to a pre-owned store like BQ Watches, I want this Oris Pro Pilot. I've got the Kermit in at the minute. I want that. And also they had a Kermit Rolex Submariner with the maxi dial but not the maxi case. So I always wanted to see that as well, because the maxi case just makes it too big for me. So there's an angle there of talking about the Kermit and the cheeky way Oris has got the Kermit and everything, and the fact that I absolutely love the Muppets. I don't know how I'm going to do a title and thumbnail to bring in people. What I would say, I don't know about you, Oris don't get any views. If you say Oris in the title, it doesn't get many views. So there's got to be a way of me trying to promote it without saying Oris, which is amazing, because Oris are, such a huge brand nowadays. And the size of their stall they have at Watches and Wonders, they are a big player.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of Muppets, have you seen the new episode, the new show?
No, I haven't. I need to.
It's not bad, actually. They did really good job. The intro
Mark,
and everything.
Tell me though, Kermit's voice, is it good?
It's good.
Okay.
Miss Piggy's a little off, but the attitude's there.
Okay.
I saw a side by side of the intro, intro song or whatever.
I saw that.
Yeah, and it's pretty close, actually.
No, it's good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. My wife and I both guffawed several times. It was. I'm really happy if they can continue that and make it good. Come back with guests and stuff.
Is it streaming somewhere? Where is that? Where do you watch?
Yeah, Disney Plus is where we saw.
Oh, Disney Plus. Okay.
Yeah, Muppets. Everything is all Disney now.
Very cool.
So I wanted to ask, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but I wanted to ask about Martha's Man, which is your band name. First of all, is it a band or is that a solo?
No, it's just me. It's just me. Yeah, it's my artist name. It's actually my my granddad's twin sister's name.
Oh, okay.
And I was in a band that did indie synth pop type music, and we came out of that. I think we came out at the wrong crest of the wave. It was less synth. The Killers have been around for quite some time, and I think we were maybe going down a path where the sound wasn't right anymore. You know, the band split up for a bit, and I wanted a name of an artist that sounded very English, very traditional English. One that I could imagine Spitfires, World War II, that type of nostalgia. Because what I wanted as well is I wanted music that you could imagine being played. Every single instrument you could imagine being played. Whereas in the band, there was a lot of synth. It was synth heavy. So I thought that would be a great way to differentiate what I was doing, what I was going to be doing in the future. So that's why the name came up, Martha's Man. Well, the wife just said, why don't you call it Martha's Man? And so we just do that. We did that. And yeah, was that the question, Bob?
So you had a recent release, actually, Something in the Water. I've listened to it a bunch of times now. It's a really good song.
Thank you, Bob.
Anybody listening, check it out. It's probably right here on whatever platform you're listening on. But do you perform live these days, or were you ever performing live regularly?
Oh yes, yeah. So it was heavy in the band band days, you know, to a point where, you know, people were telling us to give up their day jobs and go and do you know, it full time and stuff. We played some big festivals and everything, and I did play as Martha's Man for quite some time. And but you know, you just get older. You know, the sad thing is, boys, is that I think music is the best thing I do. Songwriting is the best thing I do. It just has always paid the least. It's always paid the least. The only time I've ever made money from music is when I was in a wedding band. And I was playing and I was singing Bryan Adams songs, and stuff like that. So it's always been a love-hate relationship with the music, because I like I said, entertain. I'm on this planet to entertain and to you know, lift people up, which is what I feel like the music it always is. It's always uplifting, even though the subject is negative sometimes. Like Trampoline, which is the intro to my shows, is actually a song I wrote about being in my wife's in labor, and everything was going all right. We got to the hospital. But then she suddenly went into septic shock, and I suddenly had nurses, doctors all around her. I've never seen her in so much pain in all my life. And they whisked her, like 10 of them, whisked her away. And I was just there in the room on my own. And my heart was beating like a trampoline. And I think there's a lyric in there, excuse me if I don't return your smile. Because the next time I saw her, she was drugged up and she was laughing. She was just smiling at me. And you know, and I just went in, wow, Jesus, are you all right? So yeah, so even songs like that, which you would think is quite an upbeat story, it was a bit of a flipping nightmare at the time.
Wow, that's crazy, man. It's too bad Brent, one of our co-hosts, is a luthier. He builds guitars, actually.
Oh, wow.
And plays guitars. I play the drums, by the way, so maybe we could get a little jam going one of these days. But
I've always been very honest. I'm a rhythm guitarist at best. I don't know too many chords. I know what sounds good. My instrument, my voice. That's my main instrument, and I learnt the guitar in order to write songs. That was it. So I never wanted to play the guitar to show off to people. If I was showing off, it would be the song that I'm singing. You know, I'm just not. I wouldn't have the patience enough to do the fiddly stuff, which I think is absolutely incredible. But I know there are millions of people that could do that far better than me. But they can't write a song like me. So that's where my authenticity comes from, you know.
That's cool, man. So you work would you call yourself a tennis instructor or a coach? Or?
Yeah, pretty much. So I've been a tennis coach since 2004. I got a degree in graphic design, and was so bored after a year of waiting for a job. and getting a lot of interviews rejected because I needed to have experience. Well, how the hell can I have experience if I can't get a job? So working in the supermarket for a year, had some great times, had some absolutely fun, irresponsible times. Finally got a job in the field. I think it was August time. It was beautiful. My computer was next to a window with blue sky, and I thought there's got to be more to life than this. And I just went to obviously I've been playing tennis for a while. I went into tennis because my best friend was into tennis. And then I got hooked on it and learnt myself, just hitting against a wall, because I wanted to be Tim Henman back in the 90s. And I just rocked up to my local tennis center. I said, I want to be a tennis coach. And they said, well, you can be a tennis coach. We'll pay for your qualification if you stay with us for 6 weeks. And I did the qualification. I stayed with them for 6 weeks and 1 day, and then left, and then got other jobs in it. And since then, I've had my own business in tennis coaching. And I get so much thrill out of tennis coaching still. I really do. I coach 5-year-olds to 85-year-olds, groups, individuals. Yeah.
Do you coach like any higher level kind of players?
No, I know my limit.
Yeah,
I know my limit. The problem is with performance tennis is one, the groups that I have, they're in a minority if they're very, very good, and so I'm more than happy for them to move on to somewhere else where has more people in their level to push on. I'm not gatekeeping any sort of players that I think, oh yeah, but there was someone that said, do not keep players to try and promote your tennis to families and stuff. And no, if I think they benefit more going off somewhere else, I would do it. I get the most amount of enjoyment seeing a beginner improve massively in 2 sessions than I would seeing a performance player try and improve one shot over and over and over again.
Yeah.
My view is always, I want you to enjoy playing tennis with somebody without me. That's always been the enjoyment for me. And I love teaching kids. I absolutely love it. It keeps me young. It makes me feel young. It keeps me in the know with the trendy stuff that's going on, which I think I need. And yeah. So I absolutely love it. There will be a time when I won't be able to do it anymore. I know that. When that is, I don't know. But I don't want to be an old... I'm very quick. I'm still very quick. I don't want to be in a position where I choose not to run to something because I feel like I'll do damage. So I'm in a fine line. I don't know when that time will be. But
do you think when that time happens, it'll be gangbusters on YouTube full time?
I don't know. I'm scared of going into, I'm scared of YouTube being my employer.
Yeah.
Sole employer, because the way the world is, the cancel culture type stuff, the fact that AI could be could delete my channel at any time or cancel something or demonetize or whatever.
Yeah, like what happened to Jody.
Exactly.
I think it even happened to Adrian at one point too. Barker.
Yeah. I can't be in that situation. So I'm always thinking, what could I do with YouTube? What could I do with YouTube? To be another, maybe a branch out there. But there are a couple of bits and bobs. I am in the process of thinking about making my own brand, watch brand, but that's a whole different story. I need the YouTube for that, but I don't want to go all in like Jody has done with Erebus, because I'm not clever enough for that. I'm really not. I don't feel like I would have the staying power for all of that. But it's something about designing a watch and then seeing people want to own it as well makes me really happy. Really happy.
Your tennis work, are you the mad tennis coach?
Yeah, like I said, Mark, I feel like sometimes I'm the place, I'm the hour in the day someone goes to forget about life. You go out there, just hit a ball, have fun with other people, and not only is it a physical benefit, it's also a mental benefit. That's what I feel my tennis is, honestly. And I feel like I've been in this area for around 12, 13 years now. Tennis coaches don't have that much of a shelf life in one area. And you've got to have something about you if you're able to stay that long. The thing that I've been able to do, which is scary really, is I'm a teacher, but I get to see a kid that I taught when he was 6 years old, who is now 21. And I have seen him develop not only from a child, but to then senior school, to then be a man. And not many teachers might get a kid for 4 years and they might not ever see them again. But I've been with generations with families, and that's been very special to me as well. And I felt part of a community. That's what I feel. This all boils down to, I'm just a social bunny. I just like chatting with people, and that's what it comes down to. And tennis was great at the time with the music business, because it was great because I was working self-employed, and I could just go straight to London if I needed to do a gig on a Thursday night or a Thursday. So that's why I liked the role as a tennis coach. And then when the music sort of died down a bit and I didn't want to perform too much anymore, I wanted to get into it more, and then got the business, got a business in it.
So you're on, I think it's your second collaboration with Radcliffe watches. First was the Field Watch, and then the recent Diver. I don't know if you've seen that mark or not, but the markers change from white to red every hour, I think, right?
No, it's it changes with every hour.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
What's your role with a brand like that look like when it comes to putting together a watch like that, designing a watch?
Well, I mean, Tayyab is, can I just say, from Radcliffe, is one of the nicest men you could ever meet. He's such a nice guy. And I wish him all the very best with Radcliffe, trying to push boundaries, but still offering value, which is incredible. Basically, what do you want? That's what he says to me, because whatever you want, we can do it. That's what he says to me. He visits China on a regular basis. The stuff he tells me that can be done in China is incredible. And we all know about the old dirty secret of 60% Swiss. We all know this. But some of the watchmaking in China is magnificent. But whatever you want, we can get it done. And I, one of my massive memories of watches came with Live and Let Die, James Bond, when he twists the bezel and the indices turn from white to red, and then the watch turns into this high-powered magnet, which we all know is a very bad thing for mechanical watches. But for James Bond, it's sensational, because he managed to get I think it was a nitrogen capsule or something that went to the watch. But also that
Seriously?
watch.
You remember the nitrogen capsule? You don't remember him undressing a woman with the watch?
Yes, of course I do. Yeah. Well, my memories of watching James Bond is with my mum and dad, so that probably would not have been high on my remembering. But yeah, absolutely right. So I said, is there any way that we can get rid of the date wheel and use the date wheel as a color changing disc? It turned out that the way the structure works in the mode, because I always wanted a 4 hertz movement, And obviously NH35 would have been far more cheaper to make. But I always like a full hertz movement. Myotas are great, and it ended up being the GMT movement. It was a way of having a GMT, not the hand moving, but a disc behind the front of the dial, and it's an awesome achievement. I do love it, absolutely love it. But that's an example of me saying, I want this. Can we have it done? And whatever I wanted the design or the aspect of the watch to have or to be done, sapphire this, box sapphire that, aluminium this, the type of polishing or the finishing on the case, there was no boundaries, Bob. It's not like a Radcliffe watch with a Mad Watch Collector on the dial. It's a complete my design, and I don't think that happens with many collaborations.
I know it does.
Yeah.
But how long did that take? Like between the time you guys first started talking about it to the moment you're showing it on your channel, or
well, I think it was about a year and a half.
Yeah.
It was straight after the Field Watch. So when we finished the pre-order on the Field Watch and we were doing a live show, I scribbled together some ideas and then got a rough concept of what I wanted, and it never really changed from that. But obviously, Tayyab has got his priorities with his business. That always takes precedent. So that you always got that to go with as well. He's doing some very innovative things, and on paper, really, my watches are very basic compared to what he's crafting out of movements. So yeah, it was a while. It is frustrating at times, but also good. I've learned with the two collaborations that good things come to those that wait. Really does. In the watch game, it does take a while. It really does. I mean, the China are celebrating the New Year still, I think, and it's tools down at the minute. Can't get anything done. We are talking about a third collaboration, and there's certain things that we'd like to happen with it, but can't talk to them at the minute because they're off.
I was just speaking with a brand out of Hong Kong, and they told me exactly that. If this watch doesn't ship out today, we'll talk to you on the 25th of February.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I was going to ask if there's any more collabs in the pipeline. So obviously it sounds like there is with Radcliffe. Have you worked with any other brands, or is there any other brands you've talked with about collaborating on a release?
Well, there's a brand that I am going to do a collaboration with very soon. I've seen the prototype. It's a brand that has been around since the 1800s. I can't really talk about it too much at the minute, but it's a watch that is similar to a reference that they already have, but I can't say anything more than that. That's going to be that will be very special to me. You say
an Omega Speedmaster Mad Collector.
Oh, crikey! You imagine? I might get him having a bezel that you could actually twist. Yeah, I do love that scallop bezel. But no, you're talking about proud moments. Did you ever think you'd get to this point? Did I ever think I would get to having a watch designed and made? That's just insane, and I will forever be grateful to Tayyab for that, because he's done something that I never thought I'd ever be able to do.
That's very cool.
I mean, sure. I put that over, even if I get 1 million subscribers, I put that over that. Doing it with this brand is something that is on another level, because for them to put the faith in me is ridiculous. So I'm really excited about that. As I said, hopefully we've got another Radcliffe collaboration in the pipeline. Again, completely different design. It's not anything that Radcliffe currently do. It'll be start from scratch and see the prototypes. I'm also doing a collaboration at the end of the year with a certain American brand, which I'm really excited about as well, because the person that I am doing the collaboration with, I have watched for a long time, and I have absolute respect for this dude. So much so I'd love to go and visit him, but I can't say too much other than that either, which is rubbish. But
people are going to be guessing now already for sure.
I
It's
know.
Teddy Baldassar. Come on.
Oh,
We all know.
crikey. Yeah.
Omega and Teddy Baldassar. Now we know.
So I wanted to just go back to the whole channel thing for a minute. Any lessons learned along the way? If you were to do it all over again, would you do anything differently?
If I do anything differently, yes, I mean, get to the meat and potatoes early. You know, that is always the thing. That I had. I used to do the. For those of you that have seen the show on Casio, I do a Casio corner, which is showing off somebody's Casio on Instagram. Back at the start, I used to do a Casio corner, and it didn't matter what the brand of the watch was. So you'd have people looking at a Zinn review, and what's this Casio? What's this Casio at the start? So that's what I would change, and make sure whatever you are talking about is relevant to the watch or the brand that you are reviewing.
Mhm.
The other thing that I've learned over the years, and probably more so on my channel than anyone else, maybe the females get it a bit harsh as well, but the bad comments, to start with, I took it to heart. I took it to heart at the start. I really did.
Mhm.
I bit back at times, and I'm better than that. I'm a better human than that. You know, I wouldn't bite back normally. And I've always tried to go with the mantra that my wife has said: if you've got nothing nice to say, don't say it. And sometimes that gets forgotten about, and I regret that definitely. But that's a thing. But also what the wife says: kill him with kindness.
Mhm.
Kill him with kindness.
100%.
You wouldn't believe the amount of bad comments I've had, and I've replied with a really nice comment, and they've said, "I'm sorry, man, I must have had a bad day," and they redact their thoughts on me because I've made the effort in and replying to their comment.
Mhm.
So that really makes a deal. And nobody knows just what a day a person has had to comment
Oh, yeah.
something. We don't know, you know. There's so much things that goes on in our life, family lives, all sorts of work lives and stuff. And I understand that someone might just be pissed off today because someone has hurt them mentally or whatever. So that's the feeling that I try to portray in my comments. But yeah, sometimes my watch enthusiast head gets in the way of things, and I might, say something I don't do, but it's a mantra of mine I've got to keep. And what you see is what you get with me.
Mhm.
I'm not trying to hide myself and hide my opinions most of the time, unless as long as it's about the watch. Keep
Yeah.
it about the watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of watches, what's the most mad purchase you've ever made, and do you regret it?
Oh, I don't know. I honestly don't know. What's the maddest purchase I've made? Well, the watch that my wife hates the most, let's do that one first, is my Full Metal gold G-Shock. That's the one and I'm not allowed to wear that in front of her or out on a public surroundings. That a watch that I regret selling was that one, but in silver. I bought that before I bought a G-Shock.
Mm.
I went straight into a T1000 Terminator Full Metal G-Shock, thinking people like this. It don't even fit on your wrist. I didn't understand G-Shock back then. That was the 35th anniversary of G-Shock, and I think it was 2018, something like that.
Yeah.
Obviously I knew about G-Shock and stuff before then, but I was a massive Casio fan. But yeah, but I rebought that. That's the only watch I've ever rebought. That G-Shock full metal square stainless steel. I've bought many watches that I may have regret selling. Squale 1521, the Blue Ocean, I've always loved, but I just didn't wear it anymore. The Zin 104. I sold the Zin 104 for the most bizarre mad watch collector reason. I sold that watch because it was the only watch I was wearing. The other watches didn't get worn, and I thought, I still to this day I feel like the Zin 104 in the configuration that I had, it looks like a diver's watch, but it's a pilot's watch. It's a do everything watch. It's an all polished case, but you wouldn't think it was dressy. It's the one watch I would say is probably the ultimate go anywhere, do anything watch.
Did you have the black dial, black bezel?
Black dial, black bezel.
I had the same one, and I absolutely love that watch.
Yeah.
Sold it, regret it. Same.
Yeah.
Did you have it on the 3-link or the 5-link bracelet?
I had it on the strap. It came with the strap, but I took it off that pretty quick. And the thing with that watch, you could put it on anything, and it would look amazing. A NATO, a Tropic strap, whatever, a suede strap, it would absolutely smash it because it is the most versatile strapaholic watch I think I have ever owned.
I think so.
And I sold it. I sold it because of it, because it annoyed me. And I regret it. And one day I will get that one back. I will.
Yeah, I asked about the bracelet because I had a Sin 206, which is the 43 millimeter chronograph.
Yeah.
And it had come with the H-Link bracelet and the 5-link bracelet. And the H-Link I've had on many other Zin watches over the years, and I'm very familiar with it. The 5-link bracelet completely transformed the watch.
Really?
It felt like a Breitling.
Did it?
It like took it to another level. That bracelet is absolutely phenomenal. I don't know how much they charge for it, but if ever you get another 104 or 105 or one of the chronographs, try and look for one of those 5-link bracelets. They're honestly really, really spectacular.
There's another watch that I regret is a Zin. Possibly regret selling that as a U50. So I had the U50 in the full tegimented case.
That was nice.
It was a beautiful watch. It came with a rubber strap, but it's the first time I ever encountered having to cut a strap to size. So that was the first thing. I found that watch. What I loved about that watch ended up being the reason why I didn't wear it. It was industrial. It was tooly. It was over tooly. It ended up not being as versatile as I thought it would. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't wear it on the weekends, because I wanted something that was a bit versatile. That watch is a special watch. The U50 is a special watch. There's no doubt about that. That's one. I don't regret selling it, but I regret not wearing it, but because it was the reasons why I loved it. The reasons why I loved it were the reasons why I didn't wear it in the end. So that's an experience thing that you get. I'm glad I had, and like all things, it is better to have had and loved and whatever that phrase is.
Better have loved and
better
lost.
to have loved and lost.
Yeah.
So like my Grand Seiko quartz GMT, just a phenomenal watch. One of the most comfortable watches I've ever had, and I absolutely loved geeking out, researching the 9F quartz movement, the fact that they grow their own quartz crystals, the fact it takes two people to assemble the mechanical side and then the electronic quartz side. It just felt towards the end, it just felt a bit too much Explorer 2-y to me looking, and I almost didn't like it because of that.
So our next question is, conversely, is there a watch you wish you'd bought sooner or never let go of? I think you might have made a video of a certain Casio about this, that you you should have gotten it sooner but didn't get it?
I feel like that with a lot of G-Shocks that I thought were too big for me. I definitely feel that way, because the second I accepted the G-Shock Square on my wrist, a whole door, a whole avenue opened for me. The second I learnt about Kiko Ibe and the Tough Team, and how many tests, the 100 tests they had to go to get to where they were, and the reason why it's that big, with the resin and the protection and everything else. Then I thought, okay, now I understand why they are big, and then I got a massive appreciation for them. And then I got the DW 6900, the 5700, the 5900, yeah, so many watches, G-Shocks that I felt were just. I honestly felt that they were for big gym meathead fellas, big guys with necks the size of my waist, big jucks. But no, you look into G-Shocks, and then it's amazing how much watch spotting you can do on films and everything of G-Shocks. It's incredible. So yeah, I think in general, G-Shock is the watch that it opened the door as soon as I thought, right, let's try this, and then bang. It's been phenomenal. It's been a phenomenal ride on the G-Shock wave.
I felt the same way about the G-Shocks. I have a Rangeman that I bought years ago, which a lot of the G-Shocks have these bits on the back end under the links that make the strap flare out.
Yeah.
They become wider than your wrist.
Yeah.
Well, I figured out that if you shave that plastic part off, or the resin or whatever you want to call it, and so that the strap can actually articulate a little bit. And then it fits the width of your watch, your wrist.
Yeah.
And I now can wear my Rangeman, and it feels fantastic on my wrist. It doesn't flare out on either way. It's made a huge difference.
Yeah. I mean, it's all to do with this anti-shock design, isn't it? The way that the lip goes over the case back. There's an interest in the DW 9052, one of the last ones that I've reviewed, one of 4 only G-Shocks to be sort of properly issued by the US Navy. That has almost like Casio straps. They just fall down. So that just wears amazing on me because it doesn't flare out like you say. Yeah, I do appreciate that.
So a real G-Shock, a watch that's actually issued to Navy SEALs or military people, not one that has a Navy SEAL on the dial and say, hey, we work with the Navy SEALs.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
Yeah.
That's that military stuff. I mean, I hate war. I really hate war. I hate conflicts. But if we're being true to ourselves, if it wasn't for conflicts, we probably wouldn't be wearing watches on our wrist, from World War I, World War II and stuff. And I love history. I do love history. So those sorts of things, those sorts of things fascinates me.
How has your taste changed over the years? Brand, styles, price ranges?
Over the years, I feel it more and more. I see value in far more than the price tag and the specifications. I'm not a spec sheet guy. The looks are important, as they always are, but it's what the whole package gives me, which is why some people do struggle with my absolute lust over Seikos and reissued Seikos. I have a massive there's a massive part of the value I see in a Seiko is its heritage, its legacy, its engineering feats, its reissues of a watch that was being made in certain times. I try and look, even on micro brands and independent brands, I'd like to see through the watch. Why is this watch made? Why have they made this watch? Is it, which brings me to why I don't like the Clomage homage watches as much, because they have just been put on the market to try and sell to someone that may not possibly be able to afford a Seamaster, Speedmaster, Submariner, Black Bay 58, you know? That's a whole another subject there. But for me, if it doesn't have a story behind it, if there's not a reason for why the watch has been made, if I can't make a connection with that, then I'm going to be not only feel quite soulless from it. The watch is going to feel quite cold to me, and also I'm not gonna want to have a connection with the watch, you know, because I'm not. Well, I love this watch because it's got 200 meters water resistance, it's got sapphire glass, it's got high beat movement, and it's got a beautiful finished case, and then that's it. You know, why was this watch made? What you know, what's the lengths that's gone into the design of it? You know, which is why I appreciate brands that have been around for so long, but I also appreciate brands that acknowledge that their influences have come from certain brands that I love, but they've been able to make something spectacular, like for instance the Archon Ultram. You know, I think there's a Vacheron Constantin that looks quite similar to it, but you know, it's just incredible in the minds of some of these people that are behind new brands and stuff. So yeah, I'm always going to have this problem with someone coming to me and saying, have you tried an Addis dive? Have you tried a Caddiston? Have you tried a Pagani design? Have you tried 100%? I'd take a Pagani design Moonwatch over a Moonswatch any day of the week. It's stainless steel. It's going to last you a hell of a long time. It's got Seiko movement inside. That's, you know, but I just can't. It has to be more to me. The watches that I own, majority of the watches I own, have to. There must be a reason why they were made. There has to be a reason why I bought it, and it just can't be because it was on sale today. It just can't, or the fact that this offers value that you can't get anywhere else. You know, I might review it, I might talk about that, but it's not going to be a watch that would stay in my collection for very long.
No, 100%.
Yeah, that makes sense. You often cover both affordable and high-end pieces. Is accessibility important in your content?
I get what I review what I can get, but you know, yeah, I've been very fortunate in the fact that some lovely people that I've worked with, brands, authorized dealers, pre-owned brands, companies. You know, if you get them, the thing is, we know it, Bob, don't we? If you give them a return, they'll give you what you want. You know, if they can get something, if they can see a reason for why you know, they're sending you a watch, then that's all good, you know. And I like to think that I give as much benefit as having the watch as I do, you know, promoting whoever or whatever brand has sent me it, you know. But what I've tried to do as well, I've spent 5.5 years only reviewing watches. On the whole, maybe 5 or 6, but on the whole, watches that I would want to own. Pretty much. That's what I built my channel on. So when you do see a watch that I'm reviewing, it's because I really like it. That's one of the main things, and that's why I'm not. I am biased. I'm a biased watch channel. I am. You know that I love Seiko. So if I'm going to review a Citizen, but if I'm going to review a Citizen, it's because I like it. It's because I actually like it. So yeah, that's what I've built the channel on, really. And but I've been very fortunate enough to like I said to you before, boys, is always trying to improve your shows, your content, what you're doing, but also trying to explore avenues that you haven't been to yet that you might get something out of, you know, that can be beneficial for not only you but for someone else. And that's what I've always tried. And like my tennis business, I've learned over the years, and to a on the sad side with the music, which I didn't do, but I've still learned from it. You get out what you put in. You really do get out what you put in. You put in a lot of effort. The rewards are there eventually. If they don't come straight away, they will come. They will come, you know. And you know,
That's good
I'm
advice
big
for
on
life, period.
that. Yeah, I feel, but I only feel like that comes when you reach your 40s. I honestly do. I feel like you know, I might have thought it. I might have, you know, said it once or twice in my 30s, 20s and 30s, but I didn't mean it. You don't mean it. And but you do realize it.
You know what you realize when you get into your 50s?
Yeah.
Fuck it, do it anyways.
Well, Mark, I'm told that when you reach your 50s is when your body starts wanting to break down. So I'm not looking forward to that, mate. Is that true,
Yeah.
Mark? Is it true?
Actually, my wife's doctor said when she went in with a knee problem, she goes, your first 50 years are on borrowed time, and then you start paying it back when you're 15.
Oh my God.
And I was a weightlifter and
Wow.
for years and years and years and years. And I started getting back issues, and now I have a serious back problem.
Right.
It's changed how I work out. It's changed my the way I live my life now.
Yeah.
I can walk for 10 kilometers straight, no problem, at pace in the woods.
Yeah.
Stand for 20 minutes, and my lower back is in pain. My right foot gets numb.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're gonna start paying for it, especially if you were very physical. I was not an athlete, but I was athletic.
Yeah.
And you you're not careful when you're in your 20s. You think you're bulletproof in your 30s. You know, you push but you eventually do pay for it.
No warm ups, no warm downs back then. You know.
No, stretching. What's stretching about?
What the heck, stretching? And I feel like stretching. My stretching is become the main event these days. The amount of length of time I do it.
Yeah, me too. I stretch for longer probably than my workouts, just to work out the soreness and then get in and warm up the areas of the joints.
We can still do the good stuff, but we just got to be careful. And we gotta treat our bodies like a proper machine, you know.
And you got to give it the rest that it needs.
Yeah,
because you don't recover as fast.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what are some of the misconceptions outsiders have about watch collectors? Like when you meet someone for the first time, when you tell them what you do, what misconceptions do they have?
Well, it's the obvious. It's the obvious thing of how can one watch be £50 and this other watch can be £5,000? That's a huge thing that I have with people that don't know watches. You know, the fact that that they only know the main brands, the main big brands out there. I talk to so many people that don't realize mechanical watches. They don't realize that you can wear something on your wrist that doesn't need a charge, it doesn't need a battery, and it works with your movement.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that if you just saying those things now, it's mental. That is awesome, isn't it? It was awesome in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. And because of the technology and what we're doing right now through these screens and stuff, I think it's even more awesome, the fact that you can do that. You know, how many things do we have lying about where you don't need one of these?
Yeah.
There's not much around here, is there? You know, I've got a couple of Hot Wheels down there from my son. You know, I tell you what, there's not a lot. I'll tell you what, I showed you as well. I mean, it won't be good for Spotify, but I've just recently done a Lego, and I've got the light pack as well. So
I saw your post on that the other day.
Yeah, Lego Back to the Future.
Lego gives me some nice joy. You know.
Yeah, same here. I got 2 boxes around me. I've got the Lego Countach I showed you.
Wow.
On Instagram, and for Christmas, my family got me the USS Enterprise D.
Yeah, see,
set.
I love that, but the wife won't give it to me.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Well, my kids are not little anymore, so I can do these things without making a mess. And I can't wait to get
Unfortunately,
my hands
I did my live shows in a spare bedroom, which is now my son's room, and the Batwing. The Lego Batwing that was at the back all the time, that is now in bits in a box. And it hurts me when I think about it. It hurts me, but there's nowhere it can go at the minute. I need to give it to my brother-in-law that is awesome with Lego, and he needs to put it back together.
Yeah, that's the one thing. After I put them together, I don't keep the instructions. So if it does ever come up, I guess you can get them
You
online
can get
now.
them as a PDF, can't you? You
Yeah,
can, yeah.
for sure, for sure. So Brent has another question here. In your opinion, do you think we're in the golden era of small independence, or are we headed for saturation and fatigue?
That's a great question. That's a great
It
thing,
is a
isn't
very
it?
good
It's a
question.
very good
Yeah.
question. I don't think there's ever been a better amount of choice. When I started in 2020, if you wanted a microbrand watch, it was in an NH35. That's what it is. That's what it was. With that Seiko movement, it's been detrimental to them, but they've made a hell of a lot of money out of it. In terms of detrimental to them, in terms of what homage watches have been able to show can be done for a certain amount of money. I think brands Chinese brands, Japanese brands have worked their absolute butt off on movements to try and compete with the Swiss. I think that is a phenomenal thing because it keeps 4 hertz movements, high beat movements at a valuable, attainable price, which I think is incredible. And like I said, Chinese manufacturing is just incredible, absolutely incredible. And a lot of the people have had their eyes wide open when it comes to Swiss, what it means to be Swiss, because a lot of us content creators have talked about what it means to be Swiss. It's so murky because you don't know how much Swiss watches are made with. It says it has to be at least 60%, but there might be a brand that does 80% Swiss and there might be a brand that does 60% Swiss. We don't know. We also
It's 60% of the value.
the value of the production. Yes.
So if you put in a plated rotor,
Well, this is
you know,
it.
that could be just the piece that
The
tips it
plated
over
rotor that
60%.
was made in Switzerland. It's bespoke, and it costs more than the whole watch that was made possibly elsewhere.
Exactly.
That's the crazy thing. It's those murky waters that we don't know. The other thing is, if all Swiss made was Swiss made, and it had to be all Swiss made, there's no way we're getting a Tissot for 500 quid, for £500. You're not getting a Swiss watch for £500. You are spending £1,200-1,300. Canadian dollars, I think it's $1.5 million for a basic Swiss watch for you guys.
Yep. That's exactly right.
That's what I paid for my Square.
Yeah. But yeah. So I think it's never been a better time to be a watch enthusiast. I think but I think there are so many choices to go down, and so many more rabbit holes that you can fall into than what I could fall into 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Because I think there's so many more forums, newsletters, websites, brands, creators that are doing all this stuff, podcasts that are doing so much stuff that you could fall into avenues that you might not have even looked at, that you could fall into. Saturation. It's a good question because there are certain brands at the minute, there's no names, but you could probably guess there's certain big brands that make great value Swiss watches that seem as though they are, and they also do high-end watches. They're making release after release after release after release, and I think there will be buyer's paralysis at some point with brands that come up with a lot of releases in a certain time. I do feel like that. But I think it's a great time to get into watches. I definitely feel like that. I don't feel the saturation. I feel like the Swiss have got to work harder for their money, in my opinion, for my money anyway. So yes, I think the more the years go on with mechanical watches, the more has to be done to this is hard to get it out, but to bring back the old, bring back what made watches great to start with. And I could even see, like, at some point a dumbing down in certain aspects of materials and stuff to get it looking like. I mean, I absolutely adore Laurier. I love Laurier watches. Their designs sing to me, and they sing to me because they're not overly engineered. They're not overly done. They make watches that we want, that we want, So I can see a lot of more brands coming out with stuff maybe like that, in terms of designs and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. I think there's a lot of content creators out there. There's a lot of different opinions. My only advice is to don't take one opinion, take 10 opinions. If you're looking into watches, into a certain watch. I mean, my favorite part of the watch, you may agree, but my favorite part of the watch buying is everything that leads up to it. Buying the watch is the researching, seeing what people think about it. It's the seeing if you can find it a good deal somewhere. That chasing it is very special.
The anticipation.
Yeah, definitely. We're talking about watch collecting regrets. Is definitely I went too quick, too fast. Everyone does it though. So and you don't have, and it doesn't matter if you tell someone until you're blue in the face, they're gonna do it. I'm sorry, they're going to do it. The amount of content creators on TikTok that are buying so many watches just for content is unbelievable. But yeah, I think it's a great time. I think it's a really great time to be into watches right now. I really do. What's your opinion?
I agree. I do believe the Swiss and the older houses have to work harder to earn their keep now, especially since they started charging a lot more than they used to. I think we're going to see a lot of shifts coming with, the first one, Baume Mercier, being, taken away from
Richemont.
Richemont.
Yeah.
I think there are other brands out there like GLC and Zenith and others that are being toyed with, and that's going to change the landscape dramatically.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's never been a better time, especially with all the shows that people can actually attend and see all of these independents live in person and handle and fondle. I think it's a great time to be a collector. But there is, in my opinion, a little bit of saturation, and there is a little bit of fatigue. There's only so many 70s style dive watches that we can look at.
Yeah.
There's only so many.
Yeah.
So anyways, it's a great time. The future is going to be fun, and we're all a part of it.
Like I said, Mark, it's like I see more value in everything around the watch. So like you said, when you see, as a reviewer, when you see watch after watch after watch after watch after watch, there's got to be something different around it, the story behind it, So I can see Swiss. I mean, Tudor already have done it with certain watches, elaborate stories to make a release, crazy or to give it provenance, because they have done that. And I can see more Swiss brands going back to their archives, picking out a really obscure thing that happened in the news and then making it, Jeremy what's his name went to Mount Kilimanjaro and he did something, and this is the watch that he wore it with, and it's to commemorate. You know what I mean? I can see that.
Yeah, he fell off the side of Mount Kilimanjaro. He didn't make it look like the watch.
But the watch was all right. Yeah.
So Russ, as we're closing this up, what advice would you give someone that just getting into watch collecting today? And how about some advice for new YouTubers too?
Well, I've already sort of, my main thing is just calm down. Just calm down on your watch purchase. As soon as you buy, we all have that feeling as well. It's what when you buy a watch, that feeling of wanting to buy another one. It doesn't matter if there's not one that you're looking for. There's just something inside you that says, right, on to the next one. What else do you like? The idea is to embrace that feeling and embrace the watch that you have Really go slow with your collection. Really enjoy what you have. And then I'd be really picky. I'd really say to myself, is there anything about this watch apart from just you liking the look of it that you can A, see yourself wearing a lot, and B, see yourself wearing it for a while, for a long time? Are you going to have this for a while? Is this going to be a keeper? Now, some people like to better to have loved and lost attitude, and that's really great. But I see a lot of people not having the same collections at the start, and I put me in this, not having the same collection as you had at the start than you did at the end. But that's on a journey. That's fine. But yeah, I don't want to say to someone, don't buy a Pagani design. I don't want to say that, because there are loads of different stories about, I can never afford this certain watch. So I like the case, I like the design. So I want to have a watch that has that design. That's fine. That's absolutely, you do you. And I respect the fact that you're in this watch game for doing it. That's absolutely fine. But if you was to really do a lot of research, you may be able to find a watch that has influences of the watch you really love, has a characteristic of it, but you can be proud of it more, because it is something different of it. It has its own story. So that's what I would say. Don't expect anyone around you to like your watches. Don't try and get people to don't try and think that you're going to get people to love it. Don't buy a watch because you feel like you have to. That's a huge one as well. Don't get a watch that you feel like you have to because you're ticking a box. I've done that many a times. I really have.
Yeah, we all have.
And I don't agree doing that unless you are happy to make mistakes, financial mistakes. But yeah, have fun with it. Have fun with it. That's what it's all about. And if you do have that niggle of wanting to look at another watch, look at some straps. Get some straps. There's so many different strap companies now compared to 5-6 years ago. Crikey, there's loads of them that are doing such good stuff that transform the look of your watches. That's a big thing I would say as well. When it comes to content creators, it's that many people don't start because they're just shy on the camera, but and they feel like the show's going to be crap. Except it is going to be crap. It will be crap.
Yeah.
It will be.
Yeah.
Mine was awful. My shows were absolutely awful. But I didn't get to I still don't. I'm still not satisfied with my shows, but I didn't get to where I was now by only waiting until I did a good show and only putting it out if I thought it was perfect. I'm the least perfectionist out there. So I would say just get out, get behind a camera, show off your watches, be proud of your watches, and have a little frequency to your voice. Don't come across as some sort of AI generic tannoy speaker. Make sure your personality comes out because we don't not only want to see your taste in watches, but maybe your personality and your character has got to come through, because that gives you longevity in this YouTube watch space. It really does.
So we all know from the channel and your Instagram that you're a child of the 80s and 90s. Me too. And I think we're going to close this out with some retro rapid fire questions.
Oh my God, yes.
So Back to the Future, best movie in the trilogy, 1, 2, or 3?
100% 2. 100%. Yeah, for me. I always love older films representing what they think the future is going to be like, and everything about the future from Back to the Future 2 was everything that I wanted it to be.
Yeah,
there ain't nothing that I didn't want it to be. Hydrated pizzas, hoverboards, hover cars. Absolutely incredible stuff. There really is nothing that that Back to the Future 2 didn't show that I didn't want to happen in real time. That's left a huge mark on my life. Back to the Future, huge mark on my life to the point where I'm still building Lego out of the DeLorean. So it would be that.
Okay, Hulk Hogan or Ultimate Warrior?
Hulk Hogan, 100%. He's the guy. Yeah, 100%. Hulk Hogan, he was the guy that made people look at wrestling in my country. No one else. He was the dude. I went to see Suburban Commando when I was a kid, and I absolutely loved that. Suburban Commando was a great film back then to me. Hulk Hogan all the way. The yellow trunks, the ripping of the vest, taking on Andre the Giant on WrestleMania is unbelievable theater for me.
100%.
Love it.
Sonic or Mario?
Sonic.
You broke him.
I don't know. I had a Game Boy before I had a Mega Drive, which is a Dreamcast, I think, for you. Oh, Jesus.
What about shoes? Jordans or pumps? Reebok pumps?
I had Reebok pumps when I was a kid, but I wear Jordans now. So I don't know. I'd go Reebok pumps.
Okay.
But mum could only afford the Reeboks with the tongue pumps.
We had the pumps too. Yeah. I think I know the answer to this one, but 80s/90s Casio or Seiko.
It's too hard. It's too hard. As an influence in my whole life as a kid, it's Casio.
Okay.
But as a watch enthusiast for mechanical, which made me just fall in love with watches, Seiko. So yeah, they're both.
Well, that was great, Russ, man. Really appreciate you coming on. We had a blast.
No, it's a pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
Thanks to everyone for listening. The Time to Calibrate podcast is out every 2 weeks and can be found everywhere you find your podcast. If you'd like to contact us, you can reach us at Time2Calibrate on Instagram, and you can email us at timetocalibrate@gmail.com. We'll see you here real soon. T2C out.